So a guy called me about a year ago. He ran a really good HVAC business. He had a solid reputation, great reviews. The phone rang enough to keep his crew busy, but his website was old. It was built years ago and he basically never touched it. And he knew it was a problem. He told me straight up, Adrian, I know I need to fix my website. And then he didn't. For almost a year, we went back and forth on it. Was it worth the money? Was it the right time? Maybe next quarter. Maybe after the busy season. You know the story. Then, one morning, his site just stopped. Gone. This site can't be reached. The old software was built on hadn't been updated in years, and something finally broke, and the whole thing went dark. No website. In the middle of his busy season, every person who searched for him, who clicked, they landed on this dead page. Every ad that he was paying for sent people to nothing, and he had no idea how many leads he lost because you can't measure calls that never come in. So that indecision, I'm going to get to it later, it didn't save him money. It cost him his busiest month and a chunk of trust that he's still rebuilding today. Hi, it's Adrian Newman from Numero Uno Web Solutions, and here's why I'm opening with that story. Most business owners treat their website like a piece of furniture. You buy it once, it sits in the corner, you forget it's there, and hey, as long as it loads, it's fine, right? Well, wrong. And today it's more wrong than it's ever been because your website isn't just a brochure anymore. It's the thing Google checks to decide if you're even worth ranking. It's the thing that AI tools like ChatGPT read to decide whether to recommend you to a customer. And it's the one asset that if you're ignoring it long enough, can take your entire business offline in a single morning. So today I'm going to show you exactly what a neglected website is costing you right now with real numbers and the worst case scenario that you're risking by doing nothing. So let's get into it. Okay, let's start with the cost that you can't see, the slow bleed. Long before your site ever goes down, an outdated website is quietly losing you customers every single day. And the number one culprit, speed. Here's how people actually behave online. When someone clicks your site, you've got about 3 seconds. That's it. That's your window. Here's some key stats. 53% of mobile visitors abandon a site that takes longer than 3 seconds to load. Conversions drop about 7% for every single second of delay. And a site that loads in 1 second converts roughly 3 times higher than one that loads in 5 seconds. So more than half your mobile visitors are gone before your page even finishes loading. And these aren't just random strangers. These are people who searched for what you do, then they found you and they were ready to give you a shot. But your slow site handed them straight to a competitor. And here's the part that really stinks. You're probably paying for those visitors. Google ads, local service ads, the SEO work to rank, all of it drives people to a site that loses them the second they arrive. You're filling a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Now, speed is just one piece of it. Think about everything else an old site does to a visitor. Confusing navigation where they can't find your services. Or a contact form that doesn't work right on a phone. A phone number that isn't even clickable. Broken links that dump them on an error page, content that still says voted the best plumber in 2015, and then a copyright date that's 3 years older than that. Every one of those is a little exit sign, and your visitor takes it. So here's a quick gut check you can do the second this video ends. I want you to pull up your own website on your phone, not on your computer, on your phone, the way most of your customers actually see it. I want you to time how long it takes to load. Then try to book yourself like you're a customer. If it's slow or clunky or confusing for you, well, let me tell you, it's 10 times worse for a stranger who has zero patience and are 3 competitors with 1 tap away. Okay, so a bad website loses the visitors you already have. Here's where it gets worse. It also stops new ones from ever finding you, because Google uses the quality of your website as a benchmark for whether you rank at all. Let me explain what's actually happening behind the scenes. Google sends out a crawler, that's basically a robot, that reads your site. It figures out what you do, and it decides whether to show you in the search results. When that robot hits an outdated, broken site, a few things go wrong at once. About 35% of websites have critical technical issues that stop search engines from properly reading and indexing them. Those are broken internal links, orphan pages, and more. And by simply fixing those crawl errors, will lift organic traffic 20 to 35% on average. Think about what that means. 1 in 3 sites is partly invisible to Google, and the owners, well, they have no clue. They think they're on Google, but meanwhile, half their pages might not even be in the index. Broken links are the perfect example. When you've got dead links scattered around your site, you do 3 bad things at the same time. You waste what's called crawl budget. That's the limited time that Google spends on your site, so your important pages get checked less often. You leak the ranking value of those links that were supposed to be passed along, and you send Google a loud signal that says, nobody's maintaining this place. And I'll say this plainly because there's a myth going around that Google doesn't care about your website anymore now that AI is here. That's backwards. Google cares more. A fast, clean, maintained site is a trust signal. An outdated one is a red flag. Same as it's always been, just higher stakes now that Google has AI overviews in place. Outdated content is the quiet version of this. If your site still lists services you don't offer, or prices that aren't real anymore, or a team member who left 2 years ago, and it's not matching other sources like your Google business page or the directory pages or your social media, Google will notice that staleness. And so do your customers. Fresh, accurate, genuinely useful content tells Google you're an active, legitimate business worth putting in front of people. A frozen in time site tells it the opposite. Now, here's the part almost nobody's talking about yet. And this is the one that's going to separate the winners from the losers over the next couple of years. It's not just Google reading your website anymore. It's AI. When someone asks ChatGPT or Google's AI or any of those tools, who's the best roofer in my city? Or should I repair or replace my furnace? The AI goes out, reads a bunch of websites, and decides which businesses to mention and recommend. Whether you make that list depends almost entirely on your website. And the AI is even pickier than Google. Here's what the research is showing. 85% of the sources AI cites were published in the last 2 years, and 44% in the last year alone. Only 6% of AI citations come from content older than 6 years, and pages updated within the last 2 months earn about 28% more AI citations than older ones. So you see the pattern here? Freshness isn't just a nice to have for AI. It's a requirement. An outdated website that hasn't been touched in years is basically invisible to these tools. You're not even in the conversation. And it goes beyond just being fresh. The research shows AI strongly favors websites that are clean, well-structured, and easy to read. That's clear headings, direct answers, content broken into tidy, easy-to-read chunks. The exact opposite of a cluttered, outdated, falling apart site. But there's one finding that ties the whole video together. Even great content won't get cited by AI if the page it lives on has technical problems, like slow load times, broken structure, messy code under the hood. And I want you to really think about that for a second, because you could write the single best answer on the internet, and if it's sitting on a neglected website, the AI skips right over it and recommends your competitor instead. So that old website you've got isn't just costing you Google rankings today. It's locking you out of the next decade of how people find businesses. Your competitors who keep their sites current are getting recommended by the AI, and you don't even show up. All right. Everything I've covered so far is the slow, quiet cost, the lead you lose without ever knowing it. But let's talk about the loud one, the one that hit my HVAC guy. When a website goes down, that whole bill comes due at once. For a small business, website downtime costs roughly $137 to $427 per minute. In one survey, put the average small business loss at about $8,000 for every hour the site is down. And honestly, the lost sales while the site's down are the easy part to understand. It's the hidden costs that do the real damage, and they keep piling up for weeks after the site comes back. You lose search rankings while Google can't reach your pages. You burn ad spend sending people to a dead link, and worst of all, you lose trust. Because a customer who hits a broken website doesn't think, oh, they're probably having a technical issue. They think, are these guys even still in business? And then they call someone else. That's exactly what happened. My HVAC guy didn't just lose sales from the days his site was down. He lost the rankings momentum he'd built up. He lost the customers who found a dead page and quietly hired a competitor. Here's the kicker. The maintenance that would have prevented the whole thing cost a tiny fraction of what the outage cost him. This is the part I really want you to hear. He didn't get hurt because he made a bad decision. He got hurt because he made no decision. For almost a year, I'll deal with it later, felt safe. It felt like the cautious, money-saving move. It turned out to be the most expensive choice he could have made. Doing nothing isn't neutral. With a website, doing nothing is a decision, and it's usually a costly one. So let's flip it. What does a website that actually works for you look like? Because optimize gets thrown around so much, it lost all meaning. I want to forget the jargon. Let's just put it this way. An optimized website does 4 simple things. It loads fast. That's 2 or 3 seconds on a phone. It's easy to use. A stranger can find what they need and contact you in a couple of taps. It's current with accurate info, working links, and content that's been updated recently, and it's maintained. Someone keeps the software updated so it doesn't break and go dark. And essentially that's it. That's the whole game. It's not about being flashy or winning a design award. It's not about bleeding leads and not getting demoted by Google and not getting skipped by the AI, not waking up one morning to a site that's offline. And maintenance is the one everybody skips. So I'm going to be blunt about this. A website is not a one-time purchase. It's like a truck that you would use to work with that you need for your business. You don't buy the truck and then never change the oil and then act shocked when it dies on the highway. It's the same idea for the website. A little bit of upkeep beats a breakdown every single time. So here's the bottom line. Your website is no longer just a digital business card. It's the thing that Google uses to decide if you're worth ranking, and it's the thing that AI uses to decide if you're worth recommending, and it's the one asset that can take your whole business offline if you ignore it. The cost of keeping it current is small and predictable. The cost of ignoring it usually shows up all at once, and it's usually at the worst possible time. So don't be the I'll get to it later business. Go pull up your site on your phone right now and be honest about what you see. So if you found this video useful, please do me a favor, hit that like button below and don't forget to subscribe. I put out straight talk digital marketing for small business owners every week. And if you want me to take a look at your site and tell you honestly where it stands, you can email me. My info is in the description. And if you want to know the specific things to look for, I made a video that breaks down the 5 most common website mistakes that are quietly costing service businesses leads every day. And I show you exactly how to fix each one. It's a perfect next step after this. It's right here. Go watch it.